Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome to the match between Barcelona and Granada tonight. Yes, Barcelona, the La Liga champions, coming up against the newly promoted side, Granada. What do you think happened? What do you think happened out there tonight? Barcelona went there and they lost. They lost the game by 2-0, and you know what? The worst part about this is Granada absolutely 100% deserved it. Barcelona right now, big problems. And the other problem is, it's nothing new. It is things that we've known about. It's things that we've been observing now, week upon week, month upon month. Barcelona continue to disappoint. And in today's video, like we always do, we're right here. We are going to dissect it. But boy, this was woeful. And you might be wondering at the moment, guys, why am I not too angry at this point? And believe me, in this video, we are going to go on to the negatives. And of course, I am going to absolutely rant and rage about the performance. What I'll say right now is, though, I'm not actually angry. In this moment, as the video goes on, I'll probably get angry. But right now, I'm not actually that angry. What I am is disappointed. And I don't know whether you had been there as a kid and your parents have come up to you and they've said, no, you've done something wrong. And they've said, no, we're not angry. We're very, very disappointed with you. And that always hurts a bit more. That always feels a bit more serious when somebody there feels let down by you. And that's the way that I feel here with Barcelona once again. I was extremely angry against Roma. I was so angry and still disappointed against Liverpool. But right here and now, it's got to the stage where Barcelona, time and time again, they do let us down. They let us down, and it's all in the same sort of way. It's all in the same sort of manner. It's an early goal, we go behind, we don't react. Valverde, we all know about Valverde. Valverde is clueless. Valverde, how he's still the coach of Barcelona, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing right now to stay in a job, but somehow he's managed it. He seems to go from one extreme to the other. He seems to stumble his way along, but Valverde is clueless. That is the bottom line. And like I say right here and now, Granada deserve this, because usually, of course, you might have Granada beating Barcelona. You might lose to one of the newly promoted teams. It can happen in football. You look at Manchester City, who lost to Norwich last week. It does happen. You can have shock defeats, but this wasn't one of them. This wasn't even a shock. We went behind and we never, ever looked like coming back. There's no fighting spirit. There's no game plan there, because that's the problem. When you set up the way that we did today, I'm going to come onto the setup in a moment. When you set up like that, you don't have a clear structure. You don't have a clear plan. So the problem is, the second that you go behind, the second there things are not going to plan, you can't suddenly reorganize. You can't suddenly there get back in sync and get yourself back in the game with a tried and trusted system. It doesn't happen, because at Barcelona right now, there isn't a system. Valverde lurches from one disaster to another. There is not a competent system in place. There's no balance in the team. And quite frankly, as soon as that lineup came out, we all looked around at each other. We all looked on social media and we all thought the same thing. That's not good. That is not a good team. And Barcelona went out there and they showed us why. It was disastrous. And so, this right here was the starting lineup from Ernesto Valverde going into tonight's game. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start there, picking that apart? Because it is dreadful right from the start. Like I said there, we knew this wasn't going to work. Not in an away game. Why do this now? Okay, we played Dortmund in the week. Okay, maybe you want to change around one or two players. I mentioned before the game, maybe bring in Todibo. Maybe they do something a little bit different at the centre defence. But why completely destroy your midfield? In an away game like this, what you want is that control. What you want is to be in command of the situation. Why in this kind of game do you think, right, it's a good idea to play Sergio Roberto and Ivan Rakitic as my interiors? Do they scream out ball control? Do they scream out there as a dominant midfield force? No, they don't. You've got Frenkie de Jong here in a holding midfield role, which is absolutely fine. But the problem is then, as soon as Frenkie de Jong drops back there, and yes, he can play there, he did for Ajax, he's very, very good in that role. But the problem is, you still need then somebody here and somebody here to actually do something with the balls that he's going to provide you with. The problem is, De Jong get the ball here, De Jong then will help the ball at the back four, will have it into midfield, will transition it there, but the ball then will go into Rakitic, and then it'll come straight back. We will not make any progress. That is the problem right now, when you don't have somebody ahead of De Jong who can do something with the ball. Arthur Melo on the bench the entire game. What on earth is that about? I don't really understand that from Ernesto Valverde. Junior Firpo came in here to the left-hand side. Of course, Jordi Alba was injured. We could come onto the goal in just a minute's time, but of course, it was a mistake there from Junior Firpo. But the problem is then, if you don't have a good midfield, surely then you need a balanced front three. You need a good attacking trio there to start your pressing, to start your intensity, to start defending really from the front. Do we do that? No. Valverde there thinks that's not a good idea. We're going to play Suarez from the front, we're going to play Griezmann out on the left-hand side, and Carlos Perez here to the right. Messi and Ansu Fati both started there on the bench. Why was that a good idea? Why did you think it was a good idea again after you saw what happened against Dortmund, starting Suarez, leading the line, and then throwing Griezmann again out on the left-hand side? And to be honest, it never ever worked. Not against Dortmund, not in this game. It doesn't work, Ernesto. It really, really doesn't. And even in the second half then, yeah, we made a few changes. We thought maybe then we can do something. He drags off Junior Firpo, he puts Semedo to left back, he brings Roberto in there at right back, and then we actually go to a 4-2-3-1 formation, and then you're thinking maybe now Griezmann could make his mark up front. But no, Griezmann then doesn't actually get from the left to the striking role. He goes out to the right-hand side. Antoine Griezmann there in an even more unfamiliar area on the right-hand side. Messi comes on, Ansu Fati there from the left. And I have to say, it certainly improved Messi picking up the ball in the middle, and certainly he was only looking, all the way through the game, he was only looking for Ansu Fati. That was where the threat was, out on the left-hand side between these two players. Griezmann was completely anonymous, and Suarez, even his best friend Messi, even Messi wasn't looking for him. He was looking to Fati, the 16-year-old, every time Messi was going out to the left. And that's the way that it went. Right the way through the game, there was no control in that midfield, there was no balance across the team, the attacking trio was a nightmare to start with, and Griezmann, what's the point? If Valverde thought that all he wanted to do this season was keep his faith in Suarez, all that he wanted to do this season is play Suarez week in, week out, in that number 9 role, why? Why spend 120 million euros on Antoine Griezmann? Doesn't make sense. And that's the problem right now at Barcelona. You look at what we're doing, you look at the coach, you look at the board, where is the direction? Who is actually sitting there and thinking, right, this is our plan, this is our philosophy, this is the way that we're going to go and do things. It looked in the summer, we got Griezmann, you're thinking, okay, that's great, he can come into the lineup, but clearly right now, Valverde hasn't even got a place figured out for him. Imagine, just imagine, if we'd gone and signed Neymar. A wild goose chase that was, we went after him all window long. Imagine we bring in Neymar. Valverde can't even handle Griezmann, let alone both of them together. He doesn't know what to do with this team, and everything that he does is just praying really that Messi comes on and make an impact, praying really that 16-year-old Ansu Fati can come on and rescue the game. But tonight, that couldn't happen, and we've lost the game. We have lost once again away from home, more drop points, and it's embarrassing. It really is from Barcelona. The opening 3 away games in La Liga so far, we went to Athletic Club, we lost 1-0, we went to newly promoted Osasuna, we drew 2-2, and here once again, it's more newly promoted opposition in Granada, it's another loss. Barcelona in 7th place in the league, Granada are top. Yes, that's right. Barcelona in 7th, Granada in top. Valverde here basically thinks he's in charge of Athletic Club, but even that's not true, because Athletic now are higher in the league than us, so we're not even Athletic Club anymore. We're not even that good. But right here and now, let's quickly discuss exactly what went down in the game. I'm going to stop ranting. I'm going to calm down. Blood pressure going through the roof. Right, let's calm down here. Let's look at the goal. The first goal, big mistake from Junior Firpo. It was. You can't get away from that. What he does is a really bad thing to do as a defender. He lets the ball come across him. He turns to his own goal, and as soon as you do that, you allow the attacker to really put pressure on you, and if you make a mistake in that area, it can be costly. As we saw in the opening exchanges, Junior makes the mistake. It's a big deflection then, takes it over Ter Stegen. Granada have the lead there inside 65 seconds. The quickest goal Barcelona have conceded since 2011. But I have to say, even then, you look at the man management of Ernesto Valverde. Does it really do Firpo's confidence any good to take him off at half-time, to put Semedo there from right back to left back in a bad position for him? He doesn't excel there. He didn't play well there again. Does it really do Firpo any good? How's he going to play now in the next game? How's he going to play in the one after that? It doesn't really help with players coming in. The first game they've got under a coach, they need guidance, they need trust, they need to be shown the way, and bang, you're off at half-time. That for me is certainly not a good way to go about it. And of course the second goal, it's a penalty kick. Arturo Vidal comes off the bench, Valverde bringing on Vidal as opposed to Arthur Melo. Maybe he's trying to use all his players. I don't really know what the plan was. Vidal comes on, sticks out shouting arm. It's a cross that comes into the area. VAR looks at it. A penalty there for Granada, and it's dispatched there by Vadillo, and it's 2-0. And like I said from the start, guys, Granada deserve this tonight. If it was a one-off game, if it was a freak victory for Granada here, of course he wouldn't have this kind of match review, but it's not. Granada deserve the win. Valverde still doesn't have the answers. What's it going to take? What is it going to take from Barcelona to actually look at this guy and think, what is he bringing to the team? How is he improving? What's his game plan? What is his idea for the season going forward? Of course, I always try and be positive. And of course, there are times where in some instances it does come together. The players go out there and they do make things happen. And I do believe that in the Champions League, in certain games, maybe they still will come together and sort of just go away from what Valverde is doing. Maybe they'll actually go above Valverde and just go on their own route. But right now, they're being led by the wrong man. It's a bad night tonight. Barcelona lose again to Granada. That's inexplicable. The performance, the way we lost, simply not good enough. So please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I really do want to hear what you have to say. What did you think of the defeat tonight? What did you think went wrong? And exactly what would you do to put it right? Of course, you're going to start with Valverde. That's absolutely understandable. But is there anything else that you'd like to see done differently? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you soon. There will be more videos. Valverde, he ain't going to stop me. I'll see you then. But until next time, as always, Vasca el Barça.